Hello, beautiful bipeds of planet Earth. It is I, Christina, here at Fit and Bendy in Los Angeles with the second of our 4 shoulder health and mobility workouts. This workout is going to get deeper into the muscularity of the shoulders. So really building the strength of the rotator cuff and the scapular muscles for a lot more control through our full range of motion. So get ready to work. You don't need any equipment for this, just your beautiful meat suit. Let's get going. Just like in the last video, let's start with just doing one shoulder at a time so we can see what's going on with them today. So let's focus on this right shoulder, just bringing it up towards the ear and relaxing it down towards the floor. I am focusing primarily on the movement of my shoulder blade. So if you see me from the back, you can see that shoulder blade is sliding up and down my rib cage, and that is the focus for this whole series of exercises to get to know our scapula better. So we're going to stop with that arm in the down position. I'm sliding that scapula down towards the floor, and I'm going to keep that feeling as I start to bring my arm up in front of me. So now my scapula is reaching out away from my spine to create this dramatic length and reaching, and then I'm going to pull it back in and reach it out. So you can really feel the scapula sliding on your back, and every time that scapula slides out, you want to feel that stretch, that opening that runs all the way down your arm to your fingertips. And the whole idea here is to feel the control that you have of your shoulder blade and build that awareness of where your shoulder blade is on your rib cage. Let's start with that hand reaching out long, and we continue bringing it up towards the ceiling. Now my shoulder blade is rotating up, 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 up. So it's not just my shoulder lifting up, it's the shoulder blade that lifts up. Go ahead and try relaxing it down and lifting it back up again. It's a slightly different set of muscles for each arm position that we're in. So you're really starting to feel all the different things that your shoulder blade is capable of doing and how it affects the health of your shoulder in each position. That's the whole theme of our workout today. Let's go ahead and stop with that arm reaching up towards the ceiling and then bring it back behind you. Now it might not go straight back behind you at this point. It might be more out to the side. Wherever your arm ends up, that's fine. You just want to have that same reaching feeling like you're trying to touch something that's just a little too far away from you. And we're not going to do any scapula sliding in this position. It's not good for us to pull the scapula in here, but we're just going to wiggle the hand around a little bit and now turn your head to the left and back to center. Left and center. And we're trying to get that stretch along the side of the neck all the way down to the fingertips, reaching out as long as you can. And now the arm continues in its trajectory until your fingertips point to the floor. And let's just continue. Now we're just going to do one smooth circle using that scapular control that we have been building, reaching out long in front of you. And now all the way up to the ceiling, touching your fingertips to the ceiling as you press that right foot down to the floor, longest line possible, and then bringing it back behind you, reaching out like there's something back there that you desperately want to touch with your fingers, and down to the floor. And now, very exciting, we go the opposite direction. So start by externally rotating this arm, turning the arm to face out, and then bring it back behind you. I am allowing the rib cage to move a little bit, but I don't want to fully rotate to get this right. It's mostly coming from the shoulder and the scapula. Here we are, we do a little wiggle of the hand, we turn the head left a few times just to get that extra stretch of the nerve that comes from the ear to the fingertips and the muscles through the front of the chest that run up into the neck. All sorts of good stuff there to stretch out. And then back to center. Now continue the circle. Here we go, reaching for the ceiling. And we relax the shoulder blade down and lift it up. And if you want, you can even reach around with your opposite hand and see if you can feel that bone lifting towards the ceiling right here. The muscles underneath that bone help to lift it up. This is an essential part of our shoulder flexibility in this position. Again, one more time, reach up, hold that arm up, and now we bring it out in front of us. Longest line possible, very operatic, dramatic reach with that right arm, pull it back in, reach it out long. And again, I'm allowing a very small amount of rotation in the rib cage, but I'm primarily focused on what's happening around that shoulder blade. Those muscles should be going, whoa, why are you making me do this? Unless you do it all the time, in which case they're probably still saying that. All right, reach out nice and long. And now think about bringing your fingertips all the way down to touch the ground next to your foot. All right, one more smooth circle. Externally rotate. Thumb leads the way. Palm faces out as you bring the arm back behind you. As it starts to lift up higher, let that shoulder blade come up, rotate it up, reach your fingertips for the ceiling. Now the palm faces in as it starts to lower, as you reach out long in front of you, feeling that delicious stretch down to your fingertips. And now your arm, as it reaches the floor, feels like a giant, beautiful noodle. Shake it out. All right. Whoo, right shoulder, left shoulder. All right, up and down. And remember, left side might feel different, might have a whole different situation going on over there. Just approach it with a fresh attitude and a sense of inquiry. Let's stop with that arm down. And now we're going to bring it out in front of us. And we start by trying to feel the reach, right? We're starting with that right off the bat. Pull it in, a little more reach. So every time we get into some of this scapular movement, we're trying to see, can we get more out of it? Can we get more muscular engagement? Can we get more range of motion? And the hope is that this isn't painful. If it is painful, I implore you to stop, figure out what's going on with your shoulders first before getting deeper into these workouts. All right, let's stop in that reaching position. And now up we go. Again, check in. Is that shoulder blade going up with you? Not just the shoulder, but the whole apparatus, the shoulder blade and the shoulder together. Drop it down, reach it up. If you want to learn more about shoulder anatomy and why the shoulder blade movement is so important, check out the video linked below. I think you'll find it informative. One more down and up. Press that left foot down, reach the fingertips for the ceiling. And then we bring that arm back behind us. Now we're opening up through the chest, reaching out long, so no scapula pulled in this position. Wiggle the fingers, flap the hands, turn the head right and center. Right and center. So we're stretching a little bit of the neck, a little bit of the chest. You might even feel it a little bit in your bicep or your elbow. All normal things. One more time. And now that arm slowly lowers all the way down to the floor, and we're going to make another big giant circle. Reach forward. All the drama. Reach up like you're holding onto a bunch of balloons and you're about to float away with them. Back behind you. Opening up the chest. Big breath. Use the breath to create a deeper stretch through here and then lower it down towards the floor. All right. Ready to switch directions? Externally rotate to start. Bring that arm back up behind you. Reach for the wall behind you. Good. And let's find that little wrist movement. Turn the head right and center. Good. You can flap the wrist. You can wiggle the fingers. Just create a little bit of movement in there. Makes the nerve feel a little happier. Good. And now let's continue the journey. Bringing the arm up. Go ahead and see if you can feel that scapula lifting towards the ceiling. Press that left foot down. Bring the left hand up even higher. Scapula down, lifting up. It is easy to feel it in the shoulder itself, maybe even in your neck. See if you can feel it in your upper back. The muscle underneath the scapula that helps to rotate it up. Just the way a bird's wing rotates up when it's getting ready to fly. That's the image I always like to have in my mind to create this movement. All right, now we continue on. Reaching that arm out long in front of us. Reach, reach, reach. Pull back in. And again, easy to feel it in the shoulder. Definitely going to feel that, not wrong. But can you feel your upper back as well? Can we learn to have the same kind of awareness and control of our upper back, which we can't see, as we do of the front of our body, which we can see? The more control we have of our upper back, the happier our shoulders are going to be. Let's reach out long and lower that arm down to the floor. All right, one more smooth circle. So turn that arm to face out. Thumb leads the way, reach back behind you. Big breath into the chest. Keep it going. Reach towards the ceiling, press the foot down, lift the hand up. Biggest giant rainbow shooting out of your fingers as you reach forward. And then imagine that that arm is going to drop all the way down to the very center of the earth as you lower it down. Oh, just divine, really. The most fantastic feeling, I think. All right, so from here, let's get a little bit more into shoulder opening, feeling a little bit of internal rotation. So arms down by the sides. I like to soften my knees for this because I tend to arch my back otherwise. So I soften my knees, pull the ribs in, flatten out the spine, and we're gonna do some little lifts, bringing those arms back up behind us. So we're really feeling that upper back strength and the back of our shoulders, as well as that internal rotation. And it's important as we bring the arms up to not let the shoulders collapse forward. So I'm constantly thinking of opening up my chest and getting this stretch from the sternum all the way out to the shoulders and maybe even a little bit down the arms. So as you find those muscles, see if you can lift the arms a little higher. We're going to turn the palms to face forward and do some little squeezes in. Now we're really getting the muscles that bring the shoulder blades together. So we just worked on feeling the shoulder blades come apart. Now we're squeezing them together to open up the chest. For 3, 2, 1, hold, and shake it out. Beautiful work. All right, now we are going to start with the arms facing forward, palms facing out, and find our snow angels. So really big circles with the scapula again, pulling them out just the way you just learned to. It's just a slightly different angle when you bring the arm out to the side. But again, feel the shoulder blades pulling away from the spine. And we're going to really feel how, when you have the shoulder blade in the right position and you're using your upper back muscles, your rotator cuff muscles can work so much more effectively. All right, so now once you've got the sense of that, let's bring the arms down by the side and find our internal external rotation. So a couple things to check to make sure you're doing this right. Make sure that the shoulder isn't moving, but the bicep is. That means you're getting the rotation to happen inside the shoulder socket, right where you want it. So we're going to keep this rotation going as we start to bring the arms out to the side. Now, the higher the arms go, the harder it gets to keep this rotation happening. So that is where the fun happens here, right? So once we get to shoulder height, we're still feeling those scapula pulling apart. We can feel the shoulder blades working. Now, once we start to bring the arms above shoulder height, if your scapula aren't working to rotate up, it's going to make this movement feel super miserable. So only come as high up as you can go for wherever your scapula are able to move you right now. The goal is to be able to keep your rotation happening even once your arms are all the way up by your ears, right? Which it means the only way you can do that is if you get those scapula to rotate up to put your shoulder socket in the right place. All right, so now we lower back down, keeping that rotation going. Hopefully they're starting to feel a little tired. You're feeling the challenge or the work here. And we get all the way back down to the ground. All right, shake it out. So now we're going to change the angle of the exercise to get even deeper into the muscularity of the upper back. So join me down on the floor. So now we're going to take all of that beautiful scapular work that we did, and we're just going to change our relationship to gravity a little to give it a little bit more spice. So you're going to come to hands and knees. Excuse me, if I could just share this mat with you. I can't really. It's her world. She just lets me live in it. All right, so we're going to find our hands and knees position similar to the last time, where hands directly below shoulders. I am driving my shoulder blades down my back and pushing the floor away from me to create that beautiful stability that we're going to start to turn into a push-up in just a second. And now I'm going to shift the majority of my weight into my right hand and turn this palm to face in and start to bring this left arm up in front of me. And let's find that same reach here. Now, because I've changed my relationship to gravity, this is automatically going to be more challenging than it was when I was standing up. And if you do not have that scapular reach, you're going to get tired in your shoulder muscles almost immediately. So getting that upward rotation of the scapula becomes very important here. We're going to hold that hand up and we're going to find our left side snow angel. So I'm opening my arm out to the side. I'm reaching out long. I'm still trying to find that feeling of pulling the scapula away from the spine, bringing the arm back behind me, lifting it up and moving it out to the side again. So it's the same exact motion. I am just getting a little bit of an extra challenge from gravity. And it can be very tempting here to just lift the arm up but sink the shoulder. I'm continually trying to keep the chest open and pull the scapula away from the spine. We're going to do one more and we're going to add those pulses the whole way. And that pulse doesn't just come from the shoulder socket. It's coming from the scapula itself, this upward lift with the upper back muscles that create more reach, more opening, and more mobility through that entire shoulder joint. Last time, circling around to the front, hold it overhead, reach it out longer, see if you can lift it up just a little bit higher. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop it down, shake it out. Hello, upper back. Let's do the other side. Doing okay back there? She's working hard. All right. Hands right underneath the hips, shoulders down, push the floor away. Yeah, that had enough. And now I'm going to transfer most of my weight into the left hand. I'm going to pick that right hand up, turn the palm to face in, and find my reach with the right side. Reaching my arm out over my head. I'm going to imagine there's something out there like a cute dog that I'm really trying to touch, but it's just out of my reach. And little pulses up. In the meantime, this left side is doing some very important work. I'm constantly working these muscles through here to make sure that I don't sink. And I'm sliding my palm towards my knee to strengthen those muscles underneath the scapula. All right, let's hold that right arm up and we're going to do a big circle. Keeping the arm at the height that you're able to without tilting the torso, rotating the rib cage. I'm still keeping both shoulders even with each other. That's a good spot, Boop. Think about opening up the chest on that right side as the arm lifts up high. Every time you come back, usually this is a good opportunity to lift a little higher. See if you can hold it up there as you bring the arm back in front. Now we're going to add our pulses. Again, think about the pulse initiating from the shoulder blade rather than from the shoulder socket itself. These are two different joints that have to work together to create shoulder mobility. If we only work the shoulder socket itself and miss the shoulder blade, we are limiting our mobility, which is why we put so much focus onto the upper back when we want to have flexible shoulders. Good, and coming back around, reach out wide. Keep checking with that left side. I'm saying that as much for me as for you. It starts to get tired after a while. And when the arm comes back overhead, one more time, reaching up, lifting up, little pulses for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Shake it out. All right, it feels terribly alive, doesn't it? All right, now let's use all of that upward rotation to get into our shoulder stretch. Kitty cat stretch again, with the doggy dog right in the way. So I'm starting on hands and knees. You can tell who runs everything. Hands pressed into the floor, shoulders down, lifting up, and I'm going to start to walk my hands out in front of me, lowering my chest down towards the floor. And as I press my armpits towards the floor, I'm really thinking about that reach. That reachy feeling. So I'm trying to upwardly rotate the scapula here to get the armpits closer to the floor. Now, It's very easy here to use your back to get a little bit deeper. So we're again gonna try to tuck the pelvis under, pull the ribs in. Now we're gonna try to get a little bit deeper in the stretch by stretching one arm at a time. So I'm gonna take my right arm, bend it in, and just push my left armpit down. So I'm rotating slightly to the right, and I'm gonna walk that left hand away and press that left armpit down as deeply as I can and try to pull the pelvis in, pull the ribs in, use my abdominal muscles to tuck under just a little bit to put the stretch even deeper into my left side. And now I'm going to switch sides, pulling that left arm in, sliding the right arm out. And the idea here is reach, reach, reach as far as you can. Let that shoulder blade come up and then press that right armpit down to the floor. I'm trying to get the outside of the right armpit to touch the floor. Then pelvis tucks, lift the rib cage up. So I'm using those abs, thinking about bringing the middle of my back up towards the ceiling, and that intensifies the stretch through the shoulders. This is not a good stretch to do unless you are in the right shoulder position. It can put a pinch on your shoulder, but when you get that scapula to rotate up, it feels great. All right, pull back in. One more time with both hands. We're gonna walk those hands forward, dropping the chest down towards the floor, nose lowers towards the floor, pelvis tucks, elbows straight. Keep walking those hands out like little creepy spiders. And breathe. Pressing the hands gently into the floor to feel some stability here. If you start to get your chest all the way down, you can lift up your chin just a little bit to get it to the floor. If you're not this deep, don't worry about it. If you are this deep and you want to go deeper, you can tent your fingers, and that will give you a little bit of extra room to stretch your shoulders. One more breath here. And to come out, lift with your abs, around your spine, drag those arms back in. Oh, that feels good. All right, shake it out, shake it out. So hopefully you feel both stronger and more open in your shoulders. If you are having more questions about shoulder anatomy, the way shoulders work, wanting more exercises and workouts for your shoulders, please check out the links below and subscribe to our channel. We've got oodles of good stuff for mobility, flexibility, and anatomy. And from both my lovely host, Betty Boop, and I, many happy bendings.